everyone. My name is Janek. Are there any cats in the audience? No? So I can use my laser pointer. I just thought of it now, I'm sorry. So I'm from Prague, Czech Republic, and my job, what I do, or partially also my hobby, is that I promote the country. And the reason I do that is because not too many people know about the country and don't even know where it is. To prove my point, this is a screenshot from CNN, and there where you see Switzerland, that is actually Czech Republic. Sometimes they get it right, but then they put us next to Iraq, and sometimes they name us Czechoslovakia and put it over Slovakia. So just so you know, this is where Czech Republic is. It's in the heart of Europe. That's actually Hungary, it's right here, yeah. I was just trying you out. And this is how the country promotes itself to the world. These are the official pictures that you'll see if you search for Prague. And they will tell you, they will try to lure you in by showing you traditional Hungarian pastry with Nutella, and by showing you this beautiful Charles Bridge that is completely empty, right? Well, this is the reality. It looks a bit different. And this picture was taken off-season with all the people there. So you can see the difference. And on the left, you can see that lovely pastry, that traditional one, see on the ground there, because once people take a bite, they realize it's not that good. Also, this is the official website of Prague City Tourism that promotes places where to go eat in Prague. So you can see Hooters, that's very popular, Istanbul Kebab, and 3 times KFC, just so you really don't miss that, because the traditional Czech chicken from Kentucky is really good. We get 10 million visitors every year in downtown Prague, and that's a lot of people. Just to put this in perspective, there are only 29,000 residents in the city center of Prague. Prague has a million people living in it, but the city center, where all these 10 million people go, has 29,000. If you divide 10 million by 365, you get very close to the number of residents. So every day, there's the same amount of tourists and same amount of residents in Prague. And you need to deal with that. You just can't, ignore that. And most people were ignoring it, and it created 2 cities in one city. So there's a city for tourists, and there's a city for locals, and I hate it, because I want to meet the tourists that come visit my city, and I believe they want to meet me, because I hope they're not coming to Prague to go to KFC. So that's why we teamed up with my best buddy Honza, the guy on the right, and we decided to do a guide show. We don't know how to write, so we know how to make videos, so we decided to start a YouTube channel called The Honest Guide. If somebody tells you he's honest, he's not, just so you know. And started showing things that we actually do in our city, how we live in the city, to show it to tourists. So they know that we don't go visit only the famous sites, or we don't eat at Hooters, we actually do other stuff. So I would like to walk you through what we show to people, and also people's reactions to it. So for example, the only true traditional Czech food is something called a chlebíček. You can buy it for $1, and why it's only Czech food is because it has the word Czech in it, chlebíček. And it's actually an open-faced sandwich. And so when we showed it on the video and we said, look, you can buy 4 of those for $4, sit in a lovely garden with that beautiful church out there. We have so many churches, you have no idea. And people loved it. So these are all pictures from people who watched our channel, and they absolutely fell in love with chlebíčky. They even got more. This guy was happy. But we went a step further, right? We thought like, what's even more local than that? And on one episode of our show, I said, how about you go to elementary school cafeteria? Crazy idea, right? Because, I was just walking by and I saw there's a sign on the door, open to public, $3 a meal. So we made this video. It's super complicated to get in. Nobody there speaks English. You have to go through like door where it says no entry. Then you have to have the exact amount of money. The name of the meals are only in Czech. So I thought to myself, nobody will ever be able to go through this, right? Well, boy, was I wrong. So these 2 guys from Turkey sent me this picture a couple days after we published the episode. And I replied to them, I said, guys, the food looks really disgusting. And they said, Janek, it was the worst food we ever had in our lives, but it was one of the best experiences we had on our trip to Prague. You can't even tell like what's the main dish and what's the side dish. I have no idea what that is. And they were not the only ones. People started going there. I love these two girls. They're actually waiting in line. The rule number one in cafeteria at school is if you're an adult, you can cut the line, right? I don't know how it goes here in the US, but we were always being cut by adults. This is how healthy we treat kids in Czech Republic. That's a typical goulash with about 8 dumplings, and there you can see a tiny slice of watermelon. And people said that, some people were complaining that it's dangerous that I tell tourists and foreigners to go to elementary school. I think it's the opposite. I think the kids are happy that they meet foreigners, and the foreigners may be happy that they actually experience something, how we actually live. Paternoster, another thing that I showed in our video. First, I came across this YouTube video, and it's a video of a guy just filming an elevator, a regular elevator. You're probably not used to this, but he named the video Eastern European Elevator of Death. And I was like, what is he talking about? It's just a regular elevator. You get on, it goes, it's a non-stop running. It runs like this, non-stop, right? And then I went through the comments under the video, and people are outraged. That looks insanely dangerous. I would not trust myself on this. Natural selection machine. So as I'm going through these comments, I'm calling Honza. I'm like, dude, we have to make a video about Paternoster. So we did. And we told people this is the coolest thing to do. And of course, you can do the loop at the bottom or at the top to see if it actually goes upside down. So we showed this one, which is in the Prague City Hall that is actually open to public. So the tourists can go there, and people went crazy for the elevator. We pretty much turned it into one of the biggest tourist attractions there now is in Prague. This girl was really happy she saw me. And they actually wrote it so much that it broke. But there are many of them in Prague. So the city was so kind enough, I called them and I said, look, you got to put up a sign. So they did. Are you looking for the famous Paternoster elevator? So they showed other ones. Something bad happened afterwards. Some Facebook page reposted our video and got more than 20 million views just on that elevator. So the city hall installed these turnstiles to block tourists from coming in, but I lobbied at the mayor, and he promised he will always keep them open like this. So if you come to Prague, it will still be open. Another thing, and that's, if you remember the bridge from the very beginning, crowded with people, to see the bridge empty, the trick is to wake up really early in the morning. The only thing you'll see on the bridge are these Korean weddings, because they just like to have a picture from the bridge. So people also do that, and they send us these amazing pictures. But you got to wake up like 6-ish. Where am I getting? Then, we realized that we have this huge followership of people who watch our show, and we figured, well, we can use them for something, right? Sell them merchandise. No. We figured if we have so many people, we're stupid, we're not doing that, by the way. But anyhow, so we figured if we have so many people following the show, they can help us improve our city in some way. So there was this exchange place in the city center of Prague. And what this place used to do is they would charge you insane fees and commission when you would exchange US dollars or euros to Czech crowns, because we have a different currency. So even though they had this huge sign, 0% commission, it was actually a lie. You would look at their board. This is the currency rates, right? But if you look closer, you realize this is not currency rates. So this is how they would trick. And then there would be a smaller one, see, then they would give you like half of your money. So we told people, we need their help to make awareness of this place. And we decided to do something called a scam fee, which is you take a selfie with a scammer, right? Well, people went absolutely crazy. And they absolutely loved it. Just so you know, this play... I did not blur that out. They made me blur that out. I heard there's kids, I'm sorry. But this is bad. So, I'm sorry, there's so many of them. But anyhow, the point is that eventually, I'm getting there, I'm sorry, the place shut down. So on the day when the Czech National Bank took away their license after 30 years, we went there with my buddy to celebrate. And I bought a coffee, and I was just standing around watching how they're taking down the signs. And then I saw a school trip move in front of the store, and they were taking a picture, the whole class, with the place. So I stepped in. I'm like, hey, can I join you guys for the picture? And the kids were like, oh, that's awesome. And the teacher or the professor said, why are we taking a picture in front of a closed store with a random dude that just like ran into your picture when we're standing in front of the most beautiful astronomical clock there is in the world? And they were like, we'll explain you later. So then there's another thing that is harmful to our city. And it's not something that the city harms the tourists, but the tourists harm the city. And it's this little metal grid on the Charles Bridge. You can see the beautiful castle in the background. And they touch the statue, or that little thingy, which is St. John Nepomuk. And they do it for good luck, which is nonsense. But, no, it absolutely is. But they put these locks on it, which is vandalism, and it destroys it. And it costs a lot of money to take it down. And I think it's just hideous, right? So one day I'm walking around, I'm like, maybe we can just take it down. So me and my friend, this is my friend Zdeněk, we dressed up as construction workers. We bought these big lock cutters, and we turned this into this. And it was 250 pounds of locks. A lot of broken relationships. I apologize to all of you out there in the world. Where was I heading with this? Oh, yes. So you need to give the tourists something else to do, right? Because they have this tradition that somebody came up with, and I think it's a silly tradition. So we figured, well, we have to give them something new. So we thought of the honest lamp, and we're going really crazy with our ideas. So honest lamp is a lamp that you touch, and by touching the lamp, you'll have luck and money and wealth. So I said that on the video. I said, make sure to touch this lamp. And people went crazy for the... Right, okay. Okay, I'm sorry. It's just illustration. Many people. Okay. But there's also a dark side of Prague, and that is serious crimes, serious scams, and serious bad things that we uncover, we film them, and I feel like it's my absolute duty and my responsibility to warn you as a potential visitor to my town to tell you if there's something bad that may happen to you. Like if I would walk into your house and there would be a low ceiling, you would probably tell me, watch your head, because that's absolutely normal, and I believe it should be normal. So there are these guys that run around the streets of Prague, and what they do is that they change money to tourists on the street. Why they're successful at this is because they will help the tourists to orient in the figure out the currency exchange lists that are very confusing. They'll explain to the tourist that he's getting a really bad rate, and at that point he will offer him a better rate. But instead of Czech crowns, he will give him expired Belarusian rubles. These are worth absolutely nothing, and if you find my dad in the audience, he has about 2 million on him, so he'll give you some as a souvenir. I brought it over. He was really nervous having it on a plane. He was like, what if they stop us with 2 million in Belarusian rubles? I'm like, don't worry. So we run around and catch them. It's sort of like a Pokemon Go thing for us. So if we have, because we got to catch them all, right? And it's a fun for Friday night, you know. You just wait around, you see them, and then you grab them. And those are not the only bad things that happen in Prague. And I'm sure maybe you'll recognize some maybe from some other major cities. But I have a little edit that I will show you what's going on in Prague.
So the joke we always say with Honza, we're making new friends every day in Prague.
No one told you that was gonna be this way. The job's a joke you broke, love that's the only way.
Thank you. So what's the point of my talk? There is no point. I'm sorry. I would just be happy if you visit my country or my city that I love the most, and it really is one of the most beautiful places in the world. That's Cancun, Mexico. This is This is the view in Czech Republic. It's very gray, it's cold, it's cloudy, but I promise that I'll welcome you with a warm smile. And that's it. Thank you so much.